She Can, we tell women's stories. We show how they got to where they are today. We lead by example, and I'm so excited to talk to Dr. Cerys Currie today. Cerys, welcome to She Can. You're a research fellow and postdoc at Warwick University, and you work at the interface of cell biology and reproductive medicine. You're a Woman of the Future winner for science. You're a co-lead of the Ambassadors for Better Research Culture at Warwick Medical School and sit on the Research Culture Forum. You investigate an employee, and I hope I pronounced that correctly, in human pre-implantation embryo development. Tell us more about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stephanie, for that introduction. So yes, I'm Dr. Cerys Currie. I'm 30 years old. I'm from the UK. I'm from Suffolk. And I'm a scientist. I'm currently doing a postdoc. So this means I'm doing research training. So I'm an early career researcher and I'm at the University of Warwick. So as you mentioned, my research is in the area of reproductive medicine. So this is a branch of medicine and biomedicine that focuses on infertility and other reproductive problems. So I more specifically work in the area of assisted reproduction for humans. So people might know this as IVF. And people undergo IVF when they are struggling to conceive a baby, normally for more than 1 year. And it's actually very common. It's 1 in 6 couples will experience problems with conception, and this is starting to increase, and it's estimated to actually increase in the future as well. And I am particularly interested in understanding how the embryo itself contributes to difficulties with having a baby and pregnancy loss and miscarriage. So specifically, I'm interested in this fancy term aneuploidy. This is problems with the chromosomes inside of the embryo. And we know that the number of chromosomes goes wrong a lot. This is aneuploidy. And we know that this is associated with difficulty with getting pregnant, and it's associated with miscarriage, so loss of pregnancies. And I think it's particularly interesting because that's actually very common. It's estimated that around 70% of conceptions, so where an egg and a sperm meet together and the egg is fertilized, 70% of these are lost before birth of the baby. And that seems to be normal. That seems to be the rule. So it seems that pregnancy loss and failure to conceive is maybe the rule for humans rather than the exception to the rule. And I think that's really fascinating and interesting. It seems to be very counterintuitive. I think it's a really interesting biological question. It's very relevant. And I think it's really interesting to work on. So that's me and what I'm doing at the moment.
Cerys, which is so interesting and I think so important as women around the world are fighting for their right to be able to do IVF, to conceive in a way that they want to, and to have agency over their bodies. So tell us a little bit more about your journey. When did you realize I really love STEM subjects, I'm into it, and when did you find this particular research area to be of such interest?
Yeah, so I studied an undergraduate degree in natural sciences. So I've always been really interested in biology. It was always my favorite topic at school. I always loved it, especially human biology. I was not so interested in plant biology. So I did my degree at the University of East Anglia. But I also really enjoyed environmental sciences. So I majored in environmental sciences and biological sciences. But biology was my favorite as well. So I kind of pursued that more. I did a summer research project in the Biomedical Research Institute at UEA, and I love that. I thought it was fascinating that you can sort of like ask a question of science that you don't know the answer to. You can do an experiment, and then you can find something out that you didn't know before, and also that no one ever has known before. I thought that was really exciting. So then I applied for a PhD. So a PhD is the highest qualification you can have in academia. It's a 4-year degree where you do novel research. It's really tough, but it is really good fun if you enjoy science. So I got a place at Warwick University for my PhD. So I did my PhD with Professor Andrew McCage and Jonathan Miller. They're both great scientists. They were fantastic to work with. I really enjoyed working with them. So that was when I started becoming interested in chromosomes inside cells and how the chromosome number is controlled in a cell of the body. So not an embryo or an egg, just a somatic, a body cell. And I was kind of a bit more interested in cancer at that stage of my research. But I really loved my PhD, actually. It was hard work, but I really enjoyed the process. And I loved research. So I won an award as part of my PhD as well. And I think that kind of like caused me to see this as a career option for me.
Yeah.
And then my boss got a new grant, so was awarded some money to really expand the research topic in human eggs and embryos. So this is looking at chromosome numbers in human eggs and embryos. And sort of encouraged me to maybe consider that project. And that actually for me, I thought that is my dream project. I really want to do science where I can see an application for it in the real world. And I think in assisted reproduction, we can clearly see an application. And I thought the fact that that's women's health, it's helping women and couples try to conceive, I thought that was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, that's how I've got to where I am now.
Yeah, it's so exciting, Karis. I'm wondering, now that you're in this project, what is your main motivator? What is the thing that drives you most? You're obviously at the forefront of research on this. You're helping people and couples to fulfill their dreams.
Hopefully, yeah. No, I hope so. That is what motivates me. I absolutely love my research topic. I think it's really exciting. I'm really passionate about it. I would love to be able to contribute to improvements in women's health because, infertility is not just women, there's also male factor infertility as well, but it is in the UK, it's classed as a health condition.
Yeah.
Um, and I would love to do work that can actually improve the efficiency of IVF because it is sort of capped now at around 40%, but that seems to be kind of biological. Like this is maybe human reproduction inefficiency causing that. And I'd love to understand more about this and take what we learn and maybe apply it to IVF and try and improve the efficiency of IVF in that way and make it easier for people to have babies. I don't think anything could be more rewarding than that, and it will be so motivating to actually help people do that.
Yeah.
And I think for me as well, it is still a male dominated field, but I actually find that quite motivating. I think it's motivating to be an underrepresented group in that space. I want to really set a good example and show other people in underrepresented groups that we can also do good work and be in that space as well. So I find that really motivating.
Well, I love that, Caris. You're leading with your story and you're leading by example in an area that's male dominated and also really underfunded and under researched still because women's health is still very much under researched and underfunded. I'm wondering, Caris, what qualities do you think you bring to the table that are important for people to have in your field of expertise?
I think my best quality for my research is just my passion for my topic and my work. I think it's so important. I really want to help people somehow through science. That's always been something I've been really passionate about. And I think with IVF, we can do this.
Yeah.
But I'm a very determined person by nature. I do work hard. I am very committed to my job because I am so passionate about it. But I think it's really important that we must prioritize looking after ourselves and especially our mental health, so that we can do the best work that we can do, and pursue excellence in our research and our jobs. And I think for me, I try my best to be compassionate and kind as a person in research. Science, it's very competitive, it's very tough. There is limited resources, there's limited funding. there is a lot of failure. So your experiments will fail more often than they are successful. This is how it works.
Mm.
It's really, really tough. And I think most people are trying their best, and it's just very stressful. You have to be very resilient. So I try to just be encouraging and kind and collaborative with other people rather than competitive with other people.
Yeah.
Um, I am competitive with myself. I always want to be doing the best I can and pushing myself out of my comfort zone to try and improve my work and do the best science that I can do.
Yeah. Karis, I love that. Thank you for being such a great role model. I'm wondering, what tips would you give to younger women when they need to think about reproductive health, their reproductive health?
Yeah, I think it's something we don't really talk about at all. Maybe that's something to talk about, which I think is really good. But I think at school, we're sort of told the narrative that it's very hard to get pregnant. You should avoid getting pregnant. It will be very bad if you got pregnant. Um, and I think when you're young, of course, that is an important message to hear. But the truth is, it's actually not very easy to get pregnant. And it does get harder the older you get. And actually, society does not play by the same rules as our biology.
Mm.
So your fertility does start to decline after age 25. It doesn't get much worse until after the age of 35. But if you see children as part of your future, I think it's really important to be aware of this and get informed early about the state of your reproductive health because every woman will be different as well.
Mm.
Um, do some reading about this. Maybe get some information about your personal ovarian reserve. There are some blood tests you can do, and just be aware. Don't take it for granted. Don't leave it too late. Unfortunately, the biology is not really helping us here. We have to work with our biology here, not against it. And there is a lot of new technology that can help women do that. So I would say get informed and take some action if you do want to have children in your future.
Yeah. I'm so grateful for what you just said, Karis, because definitely in my generation, it was still the sort of Hollywood image of, oh, you're going to fall in love and you're going to get married and then, boom, you're going to have children. And that's just not the way things go for many people. Um, what are you most proud of to date?
Yeah, so I was actually asked this question in the interview that I did for the Women of the Future Science Award, and I actually hadn't thought about it when they asked me. Um, but I said in that interview, I mean, I've won some prizes, but I was actually most proud of just being a scientist and persisting in science and staying and hopefully doing some good work. And I think that is still true. I think it is tough, and I'm really proud of just continuing to do it. I do work on the side to try and improve the culture of research. We've been doing that for over 3 years now, and I think this is actually really helping. So this is sort of around mental health and trying to encourage and support other scientists in the environment. So I'm really proud of that work. I've also previously struggled a lot with imposter syndrome. I think most of us will. And I've actually worked really hard to overcome that, and I'm definitely getting there. So I'm really proud of this. Um, but outside of my job, I do take my hobbies very seriously. So I have my own horse, and I look after her every day. I've always been passionate about horses since I was very, very young. So I look after her myself. In the winter, I'm out mucking out in all weathers before work. So I'm really proud that I can balance that hobby, which is quite difficult, with my job as well. It's challenging, but it makes me really happy and I really enjoy that.
Karis, and what are your plans and your goals for the next couple of years?
So yeah, I want to continue to make scientific discoveries that I really hope can improve the efficiency of IVF, or we be working towards that. I think anything we discover will be helpful at this point, hopefully. But in the future, my overall goal, I would love to be able to lead my own research group one day. It's very, very challenging to get there. But I would love to be able to do that and do my own research that continues the work that I've started doing. And hopefully in the future be able to help mentor and coach other young people to be scientists and sort of pay forwards some of the help that I've received so far in my career.
Karis, I'm so thankful for this conversation because you really lead by example. You work at the forefront of science that is an under-researched and underfunded area. You're benefiting women all over the world and couples. And so thank you so much for the incredible impact you make also in championing a better research industry where people are kinder with each other and you compete with yourself, and that's not the paramount thing. Competing against each other, which I think makes for a much better work environment. And we know that when people are happy at work, the output is better. So I'm really thankful for this conversation.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed chatting.